Welcome to I Feel Fat Today. I'm your host, Kelly Taylor. Thank you so much for joining me on this glorious Friday. Follow us on social media at I Feel Fat Today. We have clips there. You can, kind of get the show in small doses. See if you want to sign on for a full episode. And you can follow me, your host, Kelly Taylor, there as well on Instagram. Hello, this is Kelly. And most importantly, please subscribe to us on YouTube. It is the best thing to do for the podcast is for you to subscribe to us on YouTube, get those numbers up, help my serotonin seep into my brain. And there you'll be able to see when new episodes of the show are released. And there might be a guest on that you're like, oh, I didn't think they would be doing this podcast. Well, let me check it out. And you'll like it. I promise you. Okay. Send us an email at ifeelfattoday@gmail.com if you would like advice from me or just give me your thoughts. And I think that's it. We're going to get right into it. Okay. So for today's introduction on the podcast, I have a little game we're going to play. And the name of this game is, are these comments or whose Instagram comments are these? Let's go with that. Whose Instagram comments are these? And so the way it's gonna work, I'm gonna read out the comments to you, and then you're gonna decide, okay, who received these comments, and we'll go from there. Let's get into it. First comment. You are pushing yourself to the boundaries. I hope you are okay with it. Be comfortable with yourself. Maybe it's just pictures, but I would like you to take care of yourself. Next one. I believe you're a remarkable individuals and a positive representation of humanity. Nonetheless, the content being promoted through this imagery may not be conducive to well-being. All right, this next one says, what a terrible, terrible thing to do to yourself and share with others. As an influencer, unfollowing, and please do better. This is not a healthy look for a woman at all. That's not good. Really not healthy. Nothing to be proud of, and sets a poor example for young girls. No way that's healthy, right? Okay, so that was round one. Who do you think this is for? Who do you think those Instagram comments are on? Huh? Who do you think? Think about it. All right. The next set of comments are, I have to redact some of the words so it doesn't immediately give away who this may be talking about. So just keep that in mind. Blank. I love you, but please don't post things that could be dangerous for impressionable young fans to see. Rough. Expected better from you, to be honest. Blank isn't chic. What could that be? What could they be talking about? Can we not normalize blank? Cryptic. You do realize how blank are hurtful for women's health and should not be promoted. Okay, and last one. Having your reach and using it to propagate a blank? What do you think I'm talking about? Who do you think we're talking about here, huh? Think about it a little bit. Looks like we're talking about someone's body. People are mad about what's being promoted. I don't know. Is it a photo of Lizzo? Is it some other plus size influencer out there with a big following? Drum roll, please. Da-da-da-da-da. It is this photo of Anya Taylor-Joy in a corset on her way to a movie premiere, I think for Dunn or something, or some Mad Max movie. I don't know. But she posted this, and people were pissed. Just for some context, I'm going to go back to the comments that I had originally redacted some of the words as to not immediately give away who this may be. And the first one, blank, I love you, but please don't post things that could be dangerous for impressionable young fans to see. That's just them saying, Anya, I love you, blah, 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 blah. Okay, the next one. Can we not normalize starvation? That's what they were saying to Anya. Rough. Expected better from you to BH. Thinness isn't chic. You do realize how corsets are harmful for women's health and should not be promoted. And then the last one. Having your reach and using it to propagate a corset. Yes, that's what people were commenting on this recent controversial photo posted by Anya Taylor-Joy of herself in a corset with a very cinched waist. And why am I bringing this up? Why am I talking about this on a podcast called I Feel Fat Today? Do I agree with these commenters? Do I think that Anya Taylor-Joy is promoting hatred, and is it posting dangerous content? No, I don't. And the reason why I wanted to play this little game and go through these comments of people saying this on this photo, saying these things on this photo, is because people deserve bodily autonomy no matter the body. Okay? This isn't like what that girl posted, what was her name? Emrata. That I talked about on the podcast a few weeks ago, of her being in like those massive jeans that she was, looked like she could fit into a single leg of. That's not what this is. This is a woman that posted a photo of her body in a corset. Now, is it shocking? Yes, it's very shocking. I was very shocked by it. I immediately thought, whoa, her organs are pressed up in that thing. Like, obviously, it's a corset. And my initial reaction was very much taken aback, but I wasn't mad, and I didn't feel like what she was doing was dangerous or harmful like these people are saying she was being. And I think that's because I am really trying to get to a place where we are all human beings that can do whatever we want with our bodies, and we can post what we want to post, especially if it's of ourselves wearing clothes that fit us, and we can display our bodies however we so choose. And I think that body positivity and body autonomy is for every size and shape of body. And I think commenters that posted the comments of what we just went through really are missing the mark, because those same comments could live under a photo of Lizzo wearing a bikini, let's say, and someone could say that she's promoting something that's unhealthy for her young fans to see, just given her fatness. And because that's what people were saying to Anya Taylor-Joy, given her thinness. And yeah, I don't really have any jokes about that, because all I could see was the hypocrisy, and I wanted it to be highlighted. Do you agree with me? Do you disagree? Have I missed the mark? Let me know. But I just thought that was an interesting thing, that comments that say that what she's doing is dangerous and they're unfollowing her and they're worried about her would all be things that you would see under a fat influencer's or a fat actor or singers or models post. And it all needs to be eradicated. Everybody thinks they know so much. Everyone thinks that they have all the right answers and they know what's healthy and what's not. And thin people deserve to be able to exist without being told that what they are doing is harmful, just as a fat person has that right. And that's all I have to fucking say about that. And with that, we will move in to my interview with my guest this week. Oh, it was such a lovely conversation. She is so smart and very funny, and I think you'll really like the conversation. I don't know I haven't had a conversation that I haven't enjoyed yet, so I don't know. There's that. Okay, please welcome to the episode this week. Welcome to I Feel Fat Today, Caroline Dunn. Caroline, thank you so much for coming on.
Yeah, of course.
Oh, I left the music videos going in the background.
Okay.
Maybe I should shut that off. That's so funny. I need to have music videos. Well, I guess not music videos specifically, but if I try to clean with the television show on, I'm just locked in. So I found Samsung TV has like music channels. Yeah. So that's what that was.
Yeah. I'm only productive when I'm not planning to be, and I just have like a moment of being like,
burst.
I need to clean right now. And
Absolutely.
then I just like run around and do a bunch of stuff, and then it won't happen again until that feeling overcomes me.
I know. It's like creativity. It just like strikes you.
Yeah.
I told Joe, because I live with my boyfriend.
Yeah.
He lives here.
Totally. He lives with you.
Yeah. I call it cleaning mode, where I'm like, I will just get up. I'll sort of just like the spirit will hit me, and I'll just rise up and I'll just start cleaning. And if he tries to talk to me, I'm like, daggers. Like, I am crazy. So I'm trying to work on it. But,
I feel like that's fine. I mean,
yeah.
Yeah.
Anyways, so Caroline, where are you from?
I am from the suburbs of DC, Northern Virginia area. And there's really not much interesting. It's like suburbia there, like cookie cutter houses type vibe. And then I went to school in Pennsylvania, where everyone dreams of going to college, a small liberal arts school.
Yeah, we're in Pennsylvania.
In Allentown.
Oh my God, I know all about Allentown.
You do?
I know all about the Lehigh Valley.
Wait, how?
Because I know.
Well, where are you from?
I'm from New Jersey.
Okay.
My dad collected antique wheel horse tractors and trucks.
Oh, and it's like Amish country
like
down
Amish,
there.
So we would go there for these like truck and tractor shows. And so I had to pretend to be into this well into my teens until one day I was just like, I can't do this anymore. Because like, it's like a, you hang out with your dad kind of thing.
Right,
and like when I was a kid, it was like, I was all about it. And then I remember one time at one of these shows, I was hanging, you just sit by the truck and people walk around. It's the most boring thing ever. And I remember this one guy was talking to my dad and was like, one day she's not going to want to do this anymore. So like savor this. And I heard that and was like, I can't disappoint him. So I would go for an obscene many years after.
Oh my God.
I think like 14, 15, I was like, okay.
You're like, it's time to
I can't do this. So that's why I know Allentown.
Okay.
And now consequently for my job, I like sometimes go out there for work. It's weird.
Yeah.
It's weird the things that like draw us to. Anyways,
how old is your cat, may I ask?
Babastis is okay. So when I got him, my friend said he was 12, but I don't really know. And I've had him for about 2 years now. So I don't know, between 12 and a million.
Totally. Yeah. No, he's definitely giving
great.
60s or or early.
My one friend though, I just saw him yesterday. He was like, I think Babastis is Benjamin Buttoning. Like he looks so much better.
Younger.
Yeah, which I'll take it.
Yeah.
I love it. Yeah.
Hi, buddy. Oh, I'm an aunt to cats.
You are?
Yes, and then I have dogs at my parents' house, but not yet of my own.
No animals in your apartment yet?
No, well, my roommate is I call them my niece and my nephew.
Oh my God, so cute.
And Joan and Paul are their names, and they are really weird. They're the weirdest cats I've ever met in my life. They're not normal.
I'm so excited for you to show me photos after. Very excited. Also, I'm obsessed with your nails.
I did them. That's partially why I was kind of late, because I was like, oh yeah, well they're press-ons. They're press-ons.
Oh, amazing.
They're like these chill tips, because I worked retail and we like sold these, and then I like got addicted to buying them. So
no, I'm addicted to press-ons.
I love them, and I used to like get like acrylics and stuff all the time, and then I was like, well, I can't afford that. So it's my new way of life.
I love it.
Thank you.
I love it.
Thank
I
you.
recently had long nails. Like I went to the nail salon and got like extensions, like the fake nails, and I loved them.
Yeah.
And then recently I had a get together for like my day job, and at one point I got really anxious and I ripped them all off.
Oh,
but they were starting to come off. Like it wasn't like I got them and then ripped them off. It was probably 2-3 weeks I had them.
Yeah, I feel like the second one starts to kind of like it's like a seesaw, and I start to play with it, and then all of a sudden I have to get them all off.
Like fuck a fidget spinner.
No, fuck a fidget spinner.
Like literally.
Just do glue, get acrylic nail glue, put it on, and then rip them all off.
Yeah.
That's pretty economical.
I know.
I think. Yeah.
There's so much about that experience where I'm just like, it's satisfying to see it come off, but it's also like kind of hurts a little bit.
Yeah, a tiny bit. It's usually too early.
Yeah, too totally. Anyways, okay, so let's get into it. I want to know, and maybe this hasn't happened for you, but when was the concept of dieting introduced to you?
Yeah, I think pretty early on, my mom, like many moms, was like a yo-yo dieter.
Okay.
Still is. Today I was like, can I like talk about you? And she was like, oh yeah, the way I like do a bunch of diets. And I was like, yeah. And she was like, yeah, of course. And I was like, okay, cool. You're like somewhat self-aware, I think.
We own it. We own it.
Yeah, we own it to an extent.
Right.
But yeah, so I think pretty early on, and I was always like a chubby kid, and I was super creative, and I danced since I was like 3. And so I think I became aware of it much earlier on because I was like surrounded by like ballerina type girls.
Yeah.
And I like continued to dance and through high school and stuff. So I think like 4th grade, I remember like being like, Mom, guess what I ate today? Close to nothing. And she was like, yes. And which obviously is horrible, but that's like a core memory, like cemented in my brain.
No, it's so. I remember talking to my grandma, and because she was like my diet buddy, man. We would just sit for hours talking about how being skinny is like the greatest thing ever.
Right.
And she would tell me how like, you know, I'd have a craving to like get something sweet from the kitchen, and then when I don't do it, I think I beat it. And that is still in my head. Like I went to dinner last night I went to dinner last night, and I had leftovers in the fridge. Yeah. And I was laying in bed, and I was so ready to fall asleep, but I thought like, those leftovers are there. But I didn't go for it, and I was like, I beat it. Yeah. It's just so bad. Like it's crazy how like the things that we know are obviously bad ways of thinking. Yeah. They're still in this old noggin here.
I know. It's so easy to like call a friend out or like help them talk through it. But then in my own head, I'm like, okay, someone's looking bad today. And then I would never think that about someone who looks just like me. Yep. Like if it was a stranger on the street and my doppelganger, I probably would be like, okay, she's beautiful and she's slaying. But if I'm like, no, well, that's me. Whole other story.
It's so sick and twisted, honestly.
Sick and twisted, unfortunate. Yeah. And we joke our way through it, I
know. Do you have any sisters or siblings?
I have a younger brother.
Okay.
And he, I think, has dealt with it in his own way in that he is currently studying athletic training and exercise science.
Been there, buddy.
And he, I feel like a year or two ago, like he's still in college. He was like 19 and he was working out like 3 times a day and he got a hernia.
Oh my God.
And he literally had to get a hernia removed because he was working out so hard. Yeah. But nothing's changed, of course. Of course. But yeah, so I mean, we're very different, but we both, I think, have our own struggles with like body image and stuff. Yeah.
And men, I would say, I think men and mental health in general have like a weird relationship. Yeah. But men and diet culture and all the other things you could say about diet culture, body positivity, all that, like men are, I don't know if I want to say underrepresented or just like not connected with it the way that women are. Yeah.
I feel like he's definitely had his own struggles and stuff, but I feel like he's like in denial.
Totally.
Of everything.
Like I find I relate to women a lot when we talk about being, 12 years old in a Weight Watchers meeting, whereas like I don't think many boys have that experience where many women do.
Yes, for sure. I definitely went to Weight Watchers with my mom in like middle school.
Badge of honor.
Yeah,
like,
of course.
I have talked to so many people in so many different size bodies who are like, yep, of course I went to Weight Watchers.
Yeah,
Are you kidding? It was the early 2000s. Why wouldn't I be in a Weight Watchers meeting?
Yeah, no, literally. Yeah. And then I feel like in college, I separated myself from it a little bit, but I think it's hard. It's so ingrained.
I know.
And stuff.
And college can be a time where it almost ramps up and gets worse, you know?
Yeah.
It's a weird time. So did you like do sports as a kid? Were you a theater kid? Mm-hmm. Like what was your, I don't know, what was childhood?
Yeah, no, I like tried out a bunch of different sports, was never good at them. Never an ounce of talent. My dad was my volleyball coach because he was like a volleyball recruiter for colleges and stuff. And I was always the worst one on the team, and it was so painful and embarrassing. Yeah. But I like had to play. But I mostly danced as a kid, and then did like theater. I did theater camp. I have to say that. I did theater camp. I have to own it.
Amazing.
So yeah, I did like improv and stuff as a kid, and so I was an artsy kid.
I feel like when I was in college, I was always like, ugh, theater kids are so annoying. Like I went to a college that had a big theater program, and so they would just like la-di-da on campus singing, and I'd be like, so annoying. And now as an adult that does stand up and performs on stage, I'm like, God damn, I wish I had a theater background.
I know, you're like, oh, I could have used the training.
Be a performer, right? To just like, because I see like certain comics perform, and then I learned that they like did plays and stuff, and I'm like, oh, that tracks, because they're so good.
Yeah,
you know,
for sure.
I remember being a kid, younger, and wanting to get into dance, and my mom being like, she didn't say you have a softballer's body, but it was like, but you do softball. Like, why would you want to do dance?
Mom,
you know,
why?
and it's like, all right. But I think in reality, it was like, I cannot add another thing to my plate to take it to. You know, I think it was one of those things, which in therapy, I'm learning that I kind of conflated a lot of things that I thought were like negative about me and my body, and more like, bitch was busy.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
Which
is
same
for sure.
Totally.
The busy trauma.
Yeah.
From that. But yeah. No, I feel like my mom, she like wanted, I think she tried to dance when she was a kid, and she was really bad at it, and so she wanted me to do it.
Makes sense.
And I was like average. I was fine. But it started to suck a lot. Like once I got into high school and stuff, and I was like so much more aware of like how I looked compared to how everyone else looked. I was like, I don't want to deal with this if this is not like what I'm passionate about.
Totally.
Like, why do I have to be here and be dealing with this?
Probably could only ramp up as you get older.
Yeah.
Because the competitiveness spikes, and and I've talked to dancers before, and they talk about how like the older I got, the more, when it came to dancing, the more like I had to be as thin as possible.
Yeah,
like it just is so. The two go hand in hand when we're psychologically ill-equipped to exist.
Right. No, and I think only like recently I started dancing again.
Oh,
but
so
when I
cool.
say I started dancing again, I mean my mom shipped me my old tap shoes, and I have a basement, and I bought a piece of plywood from Home Depot and brought it to my apartment. You're
a dancer.
I'm a dancer.
You're a dancer.
But I feel like I could have taken dance classes in college and stuff, but I think I was like so insecure about just like my body moving like a lot in front of people, and so like I just didn't enjoy it at all.
Totally.
I didn't want to do it.
Do you have any friends from the time you were dancing that still do it, or
no?
Okay. Yeah. Because sometimes when you do something so young, those friends don't carry over.
I think, I was like people that you were friends with because, you were doing the same thing together.
Absolutely.
But I definitely still have like theater friends and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So when your mom would go on a diet, would it be like, okay, Caroline, we're doing this together, or do you want to do this together? Like I always did my diets in tandem with my mom. Like we cheated together. Mm-hmm. We were strict together.
I think I was very like rebellious light. Like I didn't want to I wasn't like a crazy kid or anything, but I think when my mom was doing a new diet, I was very like, well, I'm not going to do that. Like cuz we're good now. We're friends now to an extent. But when I was growing up, I was like, I don't like you at all.
Yeah.
And so I think when she was doing a new diet, I was like, well, I'm not going to do that because it's stupid. So
not for me.
Not for me. So luckily no, but I still like, Googled my own ways of like lose 10 pounds in a week.
Of course.
And I did a cabbage soup diet one time. Have you dabbled?
Oh yeah. Of course I've done the cabbage soup diet.
The old cabbage soup diet, the translucent soup diet.
Yes. You try to convince yourself that this is good. This tastes good.
This tastes good, and my pee doesn't smell weird.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I am satiated.
Yeah,
right
totally. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
The cabbage. When were you doing the cabbage soup diet?
I think I was like 14.
Really? That was something I was doing in college.
Yeah. I think I was in high school for sure. I was like early high school.
You alone or with friends?
No, by myself.
Suffering alone. I love it.
Suffering alone. But then I had friends. I remember my junior year, like my friend like came to school, and like her parents, like she wanted to go on the Atkins diet and stuff. We all know her, Miss Atkins. But it was like her parents were like very excited for her to be like going on the Atkins diet, and it was just like a weird dynamic of us all being like, we know this is toxic and weird, but it's still like 2013 and we don't want to mention anything. Yeah, we all feel weird about this. But
I'm ruminating on. I remember, constantly like going to school and I struggled in school. Like I wasn't a good student. So when lunchtime came around, I was like, finally a fucking break. Because like I hated being in class.
Yeah.
I was a good kid. I would never misbehave. But like, I don't know. I just was like dying in class. And so like to have to go to like your sad little diet lunch and being like, I remember like asking my mom, like, what if the teacher asked me why I'm not eating so much? Because of course a diet lunch back then was just, you know, hardly any food.
Right.
Like half a sandwich and, you know. And I remember my mom just saying, like, just tell her that, you know, you're having stomach problems. And like that's kind of not a lie because like you do want your stomach to like look different and be smaller.
Oh, that's so interesting.
Yeah. And I was like, okay, yeah. Because I also because that was another thing of like when you're on a diet, like, well, I don't want to be seen as an other to like the people in my class, you know, because I also always felt like one of the bigger girls, bigger people in my class, not necessarily a girl, you know.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah.
It's you couldn't pay me to go back and do middle school.
No, God, no.
Horrible.
No, horrible. I was always flexible, and so I got really excited when we had to do like a flexibility test.
Yes.
Because that was the only one that I was going to be like amazing at.
Yeah.
And then everything else, I was like, please kill me.
Kill me.
Please kill me.
No, seriously.
Oh my God.
So where is you said your mom is still like in that, you know, I do diets, I'm a yo-yo dieter kind of thing. She still does that.
Yeah, she is.
Has she ever, and you know, you don't have to disclose anything about your mom that is, I'm just curious, like, has she ever talked about going on like one of those weight loss drugs like Ozempic, Mounjaro?
Yeah. My dad's diabetic, and so he is on it.
Oh my God. Literally same.
Yeah. And yeah, my mom has been doing a bunch of different programs and stuff like that. And yeah.
I know. It's my parents are just literally the same.
Yeah.
Like totally. And I have a joke where I'm like, my dad's diabetic. My mom's vain. They both look amazing. Like
they both look amazing. Yeah.
And my mom's not vain. She just like, you know, wants to be skinny. Which, like, whatever.
I know. I think I was just like, I spent the weekend like 2 weekends ago with my mom and my grandma, her mom, and my mom. Oh my God, my mom's mom has nothing but mean critiques for her appearance. It's her hair. It's how she's doing her makeup. Like always, and it's. I know she's like 80. She was 84. It was for her 84th birthday.
Oh
so I'm also like I can't fault her because
right.
it's also like how she was taught, what the standard she had to be held to and stuff, and like now she has very little control over how she looks, and so I understand that like if she can critique my mom, she'll critique her.
It's hardwired.
But being around it, I'm like, well, I understand why my mom is the way she is. If the voice in my head was Barbara, like,
absolutely,
all the time being like, do you really think that shirt's very flattering?
Right.
Like, why would you wear that? What that hair tie, that hair length is really bad.
It runs deep. Yeah. It runs deep.
I have like sympathy for her, like to an extent.
Absolutely. I remember my grandmother, who's my mom's mom, we would go over her house, and it was like you're either too skinny and you're not eating enough, or you're too fat and you have to eat little, like you eat less.
Yeah.
You know, it was like no one was ever happy. She was never happy with like what you presented with. And I think that also went into like, you know, I'm old, I know best, I can tell you how you should be. Okay, so cabbage soup diet. Any other diets that you've done in the past?
I think I tried so many things like in high school and college specifically. I think just like I tried like, you know, keto.
Yeah.
I think a lot.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. I mean, it was really, I think I just kind of went through phases of like super restrictive and like trying to eat as little as possible or trying to like come up with like some like, okay, I'm gonna be gluten free and I'm not gonna eat this kind of cheese and I'm not gonna eat snacks and I can't have ice cream, and it would like work for like a little bit, but it's like not sustainable whatsoever. And so it was just back and forth trying to figure it out. So yeah, besides like cabbage soup and keto, there weren't any specific ones, but it was just always just like trying something new.
Yeah.
Or trying to cut something out or finding a new diet version of a snack somehow.
Yes. Yeah. And it's really, there's never been more information at our disposal, constantly just like being thrown in our face of why all of that is bad. Once I like saw something being presented to me that was like the concept of like diet-ifying a snack will actually potentially make you eat more. I was like, you mean so I could either have like a little quarter cup of the ice cream I really want and be satisfied, or the entire pint of the Halo Top?
Not the Halo Top.
Not the Halo Top. When I discovered Halo
the, like,
Top,
ice pick weird ass flavored. No.
Yes.
Yeah.
When I discovered Halo Top, initially I was like, this is the best thing
I was
ever.
like, this is the silver bullet. Like, this fixes everything. Okay, I can have a pint of ice cream a night. It's only 200 calories. Like, this is genius.
And and then your body is just like, please stop. Like, I can't, my tongue cannot taste this anymore.
Yeah, because it's just like chemicals in your body, I feel like, is so confused.
Yes.
And it makes you feel so bad.
So bad.
Yeah.
Like, so bad.
It's
and
also
like,
expensive.
So expensive.
Oh my God. It's like, like $8 for like a single pint.
Yeah.
Of
and
you
like,
to like be skinny.
Yeah,
maybe.
And it's like, no, I'm not going to be skinny because I'm going to eat that pint of Halo Top. And then I'm going to, because I remember Halo Top got so popular for a little window of time where the Ben and Jerry's and like the Haagen-Dazs pints were affordable all of a sudden.
Yeah,
remember that?
For sure.
And so it'd be like, okay, well, I can't, this is like a Ben and Jerry's pint for $3.99. Like, that's fucking insane. So of course I'm
never
going to
get this deal again.
I know. And then I would find myself like, well, now I'm in the habit of eating pints of ice cream, you know, because at the end of the day, that's what you're doing, you know, no matter what the caloric intake is. It's a lot of it is like habit and ritual.
Yeah.
And then I discovered like so recently that, I can get a pint of ice cream. And even though like it feels sacrilegious to scoop some out and put it in a bowl, I have the ability to do that.
Yeah, you can do that.
And now I can just enjoy the ice cream instead of lying to myself.
Yeah.
That's Halo Top, lying to yourself.
Oh, 100%.
And then like, you know, because the protein TikTok girlies are big into Halo Top. They still love it.
Yeah.
They're still fooling themselves.
I feel like I see like the Ninja Creamy.
Oh yeah.
Like people making ice cream out of like banana and protein powder and like no chocolate, 0% chocolate chips. And it's like, it looks nasty.
Disgusting.
And they're like, and you can eat so much of it.
So much.
And I'm like, and it takes you how many hours to make that? Yeah. And how much money? And
so this is undiagnosed binge eating disorder.
No,
that
literally.
Yeah. That's the whole, like the whole thing of, you might be like and this is true. That's the thing. Oh, sorry. My thoughts are going everywhere.
No, it's okay.
There are kernels of truth in what the TikTok girlies are showing us and like what the Instagram fitness girlies are showing us. There's kernels of truth, but there's also so much like there's zero introspection happening. So it's like, are you a volume eater? It's like, this is what you can do to have, you know, 100 chips under X amount of calories, and you know, you can eat all you want. And it's like, okay, maybe I am a volume eater, but like, why am I a volume eater?
Right.
You know?
Right.
I don't know. I'm no therapist.
No, but
I've
it's
just been inundated with this shit my whole life.
No, but seriously, I feel like TikTok has definitely made it worse for me.
So much worse.
Food, because when I like delete it for a couple of days, I like am not so conscious of it, but it just like inevitably comes back on my For You page at some point, and I watch them sometimes.
Oh yeah.
And I'm like, I feel like I flip flop so much
because I'm the same. Like, I have, you know how you can like save collections of videos. Like, I have like a whole collection of like the videos that are counterintuitive to the life I want to be living.
Right. No, exactly. It's like the morals I hold for everyone else in my life and how I want everyone else to treat themselves, but it's different for myself.
Not for me.
It's rough. It's rough.
So, with you growing up having a mom that dieted a lot, like, would there not be foods in the house that you would it all be diety food in the house, or was it like a mixture?
It was a mixture, I think. Honestly, I feel like I've seen on social media people are like ingredients households.
Yes.
We were an ingredient household in terms of just like my parents both just worked a lot. Totally. And my brother and I would kind of just figure it out.
Yeah.
So it was a lot of like making up things like peanut butter and some old chocolate chips
Yep,
and like
yep.
stuff like that. But then I think when I got into like middle school and high school and had a little bit more ability to like buy stuff or like go to the grocery store with them, that's when we would try to convince them to get us fun snacks.
Yeah,
and
yeah,
like
totally.
That. Yeah, I forget what your question was originally.
No, just literally the types of food that were in the house.
Yeah,
yeah. I was a big hamburger helper household. My mom worked a lot, so it was like, you know, it's easy. I can do it, and then like, you know, it's easy for you as a kid to like learn how to make. Kind of thing.
Yeah. No, I grew up like just eating a lot of like fast, quick meals, just because like we were talking about like being overbooked and stuff. Like I was overbooked, my brother's overbooked. We have to go to a million different places, like all the different activities. So it was always just like it would either be takeout somehow or like the speediest version of a meal.
Yeah.
Or like
So I don't know. Do you think you've ever used food as, I don't want to say medicinally, but like, like for me, for example, if I am feeling like a big emotion in the past, it would just be like, I would always go for food. Like I found myself being jealous of people being like, when I'm stressed, I can't eat, which I too relate to a certain extent. But like, I feel like I'm way opposite. It's like when I'm stressed, like all I want to do is eat, you know?
Yeah.
So do you sort of like express your emotions, or instead of expressing your emotions, you go to food?
Yeah, I think so. I think in certain ways, like I do now, like when I am anxious about like a performance or something, I can't really, I like feel like I'm not hungry at all. I don't want to eat anything. When I'm like anxious about a date, I don't want to eat anything. But I think that's a whole other thing where I'm like going on a date and then I'm conscious of like how I'm looking physically, and I'm like, and I don't want to eat anything before this date.
Totally, because that's gonna like change.
Totally gonna change everything within the next hour.
Yeah, absolutely.
But yeah, I mean, I think I definitely like, I used to, I think very much like, kind of just like eat my feelings and stuff.
Totally.
I think just like do that. I think especially over COVID, like that was like, I think I am such a social person, and when I didn't have that anymore, like that was like, I was like, okay, all I have right now is to, I guess, watch this new TV show and sit here and eat a pint of Ben and Jerry's or something, or like eat a bunch of mac and cheese.
It also kind of felt like this is the only time we'll be able to have to do this.
Yeah.
Because we were so busy.
I know. I think I like saw it as like a grace period. Like
totally.
There were some people where like, I feel like there were some people that were like, and this is the time to get in shape. This is the time to get your life together.
Oh my gosh, I know.
And I was kind of like, I mean, I fell into a deep depression, but I also like, for me, it was like, I was like, this is the only time that I'm going to get to like sit and just like not really have to do anything for a bit. For a second, it felt like a break until it wasn't. But
it felt like, COVID felt like, you know, when you are a kid and it snows and you know it's going to snow, so your mom goes to the grocery store and like fills the house with food for the snowstorm. School is canceled. It's like, okay, like that whole snow day, maybe you get 1-2 snow days. It's just like, I'm making s'mores in the microwave. Like I'm going crazy. COVID was an extended snow day energy, at least for the first 2-3 weeks.
Yeah. No, I agree with that. Yeah, for sure. I mean, I had to... Yeah, it was weird. I was studying abroad at the time.
No, you were not.
I was.
Where?
In London.
What?
I know. And I had to go home.
That sucks. How long were you in London?
I got to be there. Luckily, my program started a little earlier than some. So I got to be there for like a full 2 months, but I was supposed to be there for like 5 months. And then I went from that to moving back in with my parents, because like I couldn't go to college. I couldn't go to where I was studying. So I had to move in with my family, and that sucked.
I could see why you said you fell into a deep depression. You went from living in London.
Living like truly my best life. I remember being on the phone with my mom being like, I've never been happier.
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden it's like coronavirus pandemic.
The universe was like, hold my beer.
Yeah, truly. Hold my beer. Well, that's a good segue. I feel like I'm sober now.
Oh, great. That's awesome.
But I think like my like binge eating and stuff as a kid, and like binging and kind of like purging and stuff, is very much connected to like my relationship with like substances and stuff. And so that was also a whole thing for me to kind of figure out and unpack. Yeah.
Interesting. I didn't know you were sober.
Yeah.
What is your relationship like with your body now in sobriety?
Yeah, it's a lot better because I'm taking like care of it. And just, I think I figured out now with lots of therapy that like I was almost like, the way I was treating my body was almost like a punishment kind of thing. Like I very much just, and I think it did come from a lot of self-esteem with like my body image and stuff. But I think, yeah, a lot of it was rooted in that. And I was kind of just like, it doesn't matter, like, kind of feeling. Like, I was like, I might as well just, like, drink because it feels good right now. And, like, might as well do a bunch of drugs because it makes me feel good for the time. And I hate my body, so it doesn't even matter if I'm doing stuff that's, like, actively killing it and hurting it.
Totally.
And so it was, like, and once I kind of, like, figured that out for myself and had, like, a wake-up call for myself, that was when it shifted things. So I think it shifted a lot of how I, like, treat myself in terms of, like, right, like, I still, you know, we kind of go back and forth in terms of dieting and stuff like that. Like, I, as much as I don't want to, I want to say, like, I never think about it. I don't diet anymore. I have moments or, like, phases where I am much more conscious of it.
Right.
But I think since getting sober, I am just, like, a lot kinder to myself generally.
Yeah.
And I also am I'm only surrounding myself with people who would never make me feel bad about what I look like.
Of course. It's just
that's
hard.
Yeah.
Being performers, putting ourselves out on the internet, we can't stop what the people on the internet say.
No, you can't.
And I, like, really have had to accept, like, if I want comedy to be the thing that, like, I do for the rest of my life and have more and more people know who I am, I have to get right with who this person is and everything about me, because there's going to be people that, you know, aren't right with themselves that are going to be fucking mean.
Yeah.
So
yeah. Oh
that's
my God.
that. Can I ask how long you've been sober?
Yeah, I'm almost at I'll be at 2 years in June.
Congratulations.
Yeah,
that is
thank you.
huge.
Yeah,
That's
so
amazing.
It was a fun thing, but
it
was a fun thing. It's fun now.
Yeah,
but
it was
like,
a funny
happiness.
Yeah.
Everything's perfect now.
My skin is so amazing.
You know, actually, my skin was really good when I was drinking a lot.
Really?
Doing a lot of drugs. Yeah, my skin was glowing.
Interesting.
I don't know what it was.
Maybe you had, like, the opposite effect of not taking your makeup off before bed.
Yeah, it was something like that. Or I think maybe I just started experimenting too much with too many different products when I started taking care of myself, and so my skin was like, this is too much.
Yeah.
Anyway.
Anytime because I drink, but anytime I've, like, made conscious decisions to be like, okay, maybe I won't do this for a certain amount of time, I find myself going to, like, if I'm going to something where normally I would have a glass of wine during the thing I'm experiencing, I found myself, like, getting candy.
Oh,
you know,
yeah.
just to have something to, like, you know.
Oh, for sure. Yeah, I always have gum and lollipops
Yeah.
with me at parties.
Yeah.
A good friend of mine who's a comedian, he, like, always, and he's sober, he, like, always has lollipops. And I was like, why do you have lollipops? And he was like, because I'm not drinking, so I need a lollipop.
Yeah,
and
I
so
need
now
something. I need a lodging.
I have gummies. I have gum. I have anything you want.
Yeah. So are you fully sober? Like, no weed?
Yeah.
Nice.
I think in terms of, like, and it comes from, like, the... I don't know, it's filling some hole kind of thing that, like, is connected to eating and stuff. I think I'm someone where, like, I am naturally gonna just overdo it with a lot of things. And so at this time, and I think for a while, I'm just not on anything. I just have caffeine and my prescribed medication to get me through the day.
Preach, girl. Preach.
Yeah. It's hard, but
that's awesome, though. Especially in this industry. We're around nightlife.
Yeah.
That's what we do.
For sure. I know. I think when I went to rehab, and one of the things that they were like, well, obviously when you, like, leave here, you can't put yourself in situations where you're going to, and I was like, so it's actually not going to work for me. I go to open mics a lot, and a lot of my shows are at bars, and they were like, well, you can't do that. And I was like, I have to do that.
Yeah, I think if I don't do comedy, I'm going to immediately start drinking.
No, I was like, that's actually all I have. So we're not going to even entertain that idea.
Totally.
But yeah.
I totally hear that. It's like, so, like, I have a doctor's note. I have a contusion.
No, it's very much. It's like, actually, exception for me. Yeah.
What was I going to ask you? When you were in rehab, did they touch on anything regarding eating, body, that kind of stuff, or was it just, like, substances?
No, it was like it was substance abuse and just, like, general mental health kind of recovery center. So there were a lot of people just, like, and I was, like, the youngest person there. It was mostly, like, people in their, like, 40s and 50s, and so a lot of them had never even, like, thought about their relationship. I mean, I'm sure they had thought about it, but they hadn't really actively, like, sat down and, like, reckoned with like how their mom dieting affected them and their self-image. And so yeah, we talked about it a lot because we definitely went over like the eating disorders and stuff like that, because most people I think who deal with anxiety or there's at a point in time, I think at least for a lot of women, there's a point in time where there's gonna be something weird happening with food, whether you want to call it like an eating disorder or not, or it's like a fully fledged thing. It's like, it's just kind of, unfortunately, it's all together with the stuff about just being a woman in our world.
I know. I was in my late 20s when I finally realized like that I've had multiple eating disorders. Like before, I probably wouldn't have identified as somebody that had eating disorders.
Oh, like you just hadn't even like.
I was like talking to my therapist, and one day, it was during COVID. I used to live here with a roommate, and so I would have therapy every morning, 9 a.m. Tuesday, and I didn't start work until 10. And so I would just take my therapy appointments when I was on my phone and just like walking around the park nearby because I couldn't take it here. It's too small of a space.
Yeah.
Especially if I was going to be complaining about my roommate,
totally.
you know?
Yeah.
Not, you know, whatever. I couldn't risk it. And so I was just like walking around one day, and it just kind of came to me where I was just like, you know, I used to do this thing where I would throw up after every meal. And it was like, I wasn't nervous to tell. I was just like, I'm like thinking about how I used to do this, and like we talk a lot about how I feel about my body, and this feels like relevant information you should know.
Yeah, and she's like, no shit.
Yeah. Yeah, and she was like, I'm not at all surprised that this is what you're telling me. Like, it's fine.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, I was like 29, you know, when I finally was able to like tell somebody that, because it's funny how I would think how I didn't have an eating disorder, but maybe she's maybe one of 5 people that ever knew that about me up until now.
Right now.
Yeah. Up until I created a podcast centered around that specific thing.
Yeah.
So yeah, it was weird the cognitive dissonance that happens of like being able to see and talk to people that talk about having eating disorders or disordered eating, and for myself not realize that was what was happening at the time.
Yeah.
Crazy.
Yeah.
Crazy.
I know.
So do you have any like food triggers? Like, are there any like, I don't know cause like, okay, so a trigger for me is being alone. If I'm alone, that's when I can like really ramp up the binging, and then maybe it leads to something else. Not as of the last few years, but like that has happened.
Yeah.
So is there something like that for you? But it doesn't sound like being in a bar for someone that is now sober.
Yeah.
Seems like a triggering event, but
yeah, I think. Yeah, I don't really I have to just not let it be because I'm
totally
at them a lot.
Yeah.
But I mean, I think with food, anytime I think I feel like I'm like in a situation where I'm being told that like, or I'm being monitored, you know, I think that's when I feel like I have to sneak it around, or like even as an adult, like with an apartment with roommates who I'm very close to, like grabbing a cookie and bringing it into my room like hurriedly. I'm like, well, what's that about?
Yeah.
Or like sitting with my roommate, like apologizing for eating ice cream, and she's like, what are you talking about? It's just so hard to not feel like my parents are there being like, really? Like, you can't feel bad about yourself and then also be doing it to yourself. And I'm like, yeah. So, yeah. So, no, I mean, that
just hit me.
Sorry.
No, I like those moments. Like, I need those moments to be like, yeah, you know, you're not crazy.
Yeah, no, it's so hard to like get rid of, because but for some reason I'm going to like getting a Bueno bar and like hiding it first, and then bringing it into my room.
The apologizing that what you just said about apologizing for eating ice cream. Yeah. I just was hit with this memory of like hanging out at one of my girlfriend's houses, and I ended up sleeping over, and so like I put on PJs that weren't really baggy, they were like a little bit tight, and I apologized for my tight pajamas, and my 2 girlfriends looked at me like, are you okay? Like, what? You know, because like they were way skinnier than me, so I was like, you know, I felt the need to apologize, and I was like, yeah, no, sorry, I don't know. sorry.
Sorry for apologizing. Very sorry about that.
But thank God for the people that are like, are you crazy?
Yeah.
You know?
No, because then you would feel like that's normal, and you should know it's not normal and stuff. And just like apologizing for just like having your body show as much as the next person to you. It's like so crazy. And also like I feel like I think I do get a little like more in my head about my body around the spring because like summer, swimsuit season, going to the beach. I love the beach. I want to live at the beach. I love swimming, but no matter what, every single year I like get this like, oh God, I'm so scared to go to the beach this year because I have to like be in a swimsuit in front of people. Yeah. And it sucks because I love it so much. It like brings me so much joy and like makes me feel grounded, but I have to, it's like a huge hurdle that like every time I'm planning a beach day with like friends that I don't think would judge me, it's like I have to like actively like fight away those like feelings of like I don't want to go, actually I just don't feel like going.
Yep. Yeah. Anytime I'm going to be put in a situation where I'm near a body of water, which is the only place I really want to be, because I love. I wish I could be in the water when like 24/7.
I wish we were in a pool swimming right now.
I love swimming.
That would be amazing. Wading in the water.
Yeah. No, it's the best. It's literally the fucking best.
Yeah.
And it's crazy that I would come up with excuses to actively not go to the thing that I want to go to. Mm-hmm. Like I will sometimes, and I really do. It's something that I've worked on in therapy, but being mean to the people that love me the most and are nicest to me, because like I know that those are people that I can like kind of like be snippy and yell at when I'm feeling anxious. Mm-hmm. Something I'm working on. But like I remember Joe and we had a gig somewhere and I got it in my head that like everyone there would be really skinny, which is crazy. But like I had it in my head that like all the other comics were going to be really skinny. And so I was having a meltdown trying to find an outfit. And I was like screaming at him for and he knows, he's like, he doesn't hold it against me. Doesn't mean I can do it.
Right.
But you know, and and I just had a breakdown and was like literally thought about like canceling my spot on the show because I was like convinced that these people in Connecticut were going to be like, it was
offended by simply you being on stage or something. Yeah.
It was something that when you're in it, you don't realize that like what is happening is so out of this world, doesn't make sense. Mm-hmm. I'm very grateful that I'm able, when I'm out of it, to take a step back and be like, oh my God, she was going through. That was nuts.
That girl back there.
That was nuts. I don't know what she was going through, but that was crazy.
Yeah.
You know? So yeah, it's
so
such
real.
A struggle.
Yeah.
It's such a struggle.
Yeah.
And the people that are bad for me or us would be like, you know what would help in you not feeling like that? Losing weight. And it's like, but you know what? I've lost weight. I've done the whole thing. I've always felt terrible.
Yeah.
I've literally always felt terrible about the way that I've looked in every morphous of my body.
Yeah, no, it's crazy. I think looking back at like pictures of me as a kid, because I thought I was huge by the way adults were talking to me, by the way like I could tell people were thinking of me. And I look at pictures and I'm like, what are you talking about? I'm like, I really didn't look that much bigger than anyone else. I just was like a slightly chubbier kid. Like there was nothing like, I don't know, like medically wrong with me that like actually should have risen any concern from anyone. But I was being treated as if there was like this like crazy thing I needed to worry about and I needed to fix like my entire childhood. It makes me so sad when I see like pictures of me as like a kid, like with like other friends, and I'm like, I look fine. I look totally fine.
As a child, as someone, as a teen, like even in like my 20s, like just wanting to go back and like hug that girl from a year ago, even
literally like freshman year of college, like being so insecure, and then I'm like, girl, you're fine.
I know,
like please,
like you are so fine.
But
it's not that we were making it up.
No, because it's like such a deeply societal thing of like even people who, like even myself, like the fact that I think of myself in such a like mean way, it's because there are people who, even if they like on a more like conscious level are like, no, I'm not fat phobic, have things so ingrained in them, and then they are, and they do think of people in a certain way, and totally. I forget who the creator was, but she normally posts very funny things, but then like posted a very real TikTok of her like crying in her car being like, I know everyone talks about how buying jeans are terrible. People of all body types talk about how buying jeans is the worst experience.
But I really need to know why I am made to feel so bad when I try to buy jeans. Like I walk into a store to try to buy jeans, and she probably looks like us. And she was like, I walk in and they're like, no, sorry, we don't sell circus tents as pants, you know, because sometimes I remember going into a store to try to buy jeans, again, at very different stages of my body, and then being like, no, we don't have that. And it's like, what do you mean?
I know, it's so bizarre where I'm like, even the times where like I was like actively like just restricting everything I was eating, and I was like you know, smaller, had lost a bunch of weight, there still seemed to not be clothes for me at the places that I was trying to shop. And so it was like I couldn't win.
Yeah.
And now I feel like people are like talking about, and you can like see it in like fashion and stuff, of like the early 2000s, late 90s aesthetic of like low-rise jeans coming back, and like skinniness being again like a fashion accessory. And you can very much like, I feel like it's very obvious that it's like back.
Oh, fully.
As like being skinny like is the fashion choice you're making, and it's like we were like so close to something maybe.
I know. I really I feel that so deep, dude. Like I really felt like we were so close. That's why I love this one account that I follow on Instagram. It's like Instagram and TikTok are both like, you can see some stuff that's really triggering and bad for your mental health, but then you can see some stuff that's really good for it. And there's this one creator, her name's Katie I forget her name, but she does this thing, Supersize the Look.
Yeah, I feel like I follow her.
And it's like, I need to see that to have confidence to wear shit.
Yeah.
Because otherwise I will wear a potato sack because I don't want any sort of, I just want to be an amorphous thing. Yeah. You know?
Yeah. I feel like I recently in the past like year have been like, okay, I need to actively like follow like plus size fashion girlies on TikTok, on Instagram, because if I see them and I'm like, oh, and they look amazing, like that's kind of the only thing at this point that I feel like I can do to like help myself feel a bit better, and like
just to see that it exists. Yeah. You can like be plus size and look cute.
Yeah.
I also feel like when I was younger, the term or the idea of being plus size was something that like I recoiled in fear at. Yeah. Whereas now it's like, that's what I am. That's what I do. Like I'm going, my friend's getting married, so we're doing the whole bachelorette thing. And there was like a thing sent in the group chat that was like, okay, like whatever size you'll want for like t-shirts or whatever. And the sizes were like X, small, medium, large, extra large. And I sent a message. I was like, XXL. I sent it. Because at first I wasn't going to do anything. I was just going to like not like anything. Yeah. And just be like, whatever, I'll do with it later. And I was like, no, XXL, you know? Yeah. And then other girls in the chat started liking the XXL. I'd be like, yeah, I want that one.
Yeah. Oh my God. Yeah. No, I feel like, well, thank God people were liking that message and agreeing with you. Yeah. No, I feel like even just like saying, like when a friend is like, I think like my roommate recently, like she has such a good sense of like style, and so I'm always like, if you see stuff when you're thrifting that's like maybe my size, like let me know. And she texted me the other day, was like, what's your shirt size? And I was like,
that's a loaded question.
Don't make me say it.
That is a loaded question.
But then I was like, oh, but she probably found something so cute. I know. And so I told her my shirt size, and then she did find something really cute, and I was like, and she did get it and stuff for me, and I was like, and it was like, but it was such a weird moment of like, it felt so vulnerable to be like, XXL or maybe like an 18 to 20.
Right.
I'm like, I don't know what I want to say. I mean, sometimes I look at this size.
Also depending on my mood, I'm a 16.
Yeah, depends on the day. Depends on how it's cut, honestly. Yeah. Is it stretchy? Like,
is it a Michael Kors brand?
Yeah. No, truly. And so, but I feel like I'm just now getting a little bit comfortable like with that with like my closest friends. So it's like, it's a journey, but
it is a journey. And but you know, I'm good for us. Like it's not a bad thing to look like us.
It's not at all.
Yeah.
And it's just hard when you're treated as such for a lot of time. Because I also am, in every aspect of my life, am really, really working on feeling like I am worthy in everything from like being paid a living wage and having health care to
I'm allowed to be asked to do a show in the flyovers. Like, I'm allowed to do all these things that, like, I just have this innate thing where I'm like, I don't deserve that. So that also plays into, like, well, I'm not allowed to wear a comfortable shirt on a group girls trip. I am just going to be given what I get, and I'll make it work. And it's like, it doesn't have to be like that.
Yeah.
Like, you know, you can just get what you want.
I know. And the clothes should just be made to fit everyone. Right? Yeah.
Yeah. Oh God, when I discovered that in a lot of plus size fashion ads, they take definitely a plus size model, but will put like a fat suit on her. So that the clothes fit a certain way. So it's like, you know, it's a bigger body, but like it's like a thinner, like, you know, neck to you know, face.
And it's like perfectly hourglass.
Yeah, perfectly hourglass.
No,
and like
just
arms
like
that
this.
are thinner, you know. I was like, what is wrong with everybody?
Yeah.
Like, just put the clothes on a person that looks like this. But there are brands that are doing that. Like Big Bud Press, they're a brand. Like, there are so many brands that like, but it's like, of course, Torrid or Old Navy that's doing that.
Oh my God. Yeah. And I feel like for a while, Old Navy was doing good.
They were.
And now they're not doing so good.
Now they're not doing so good.
No. And it's so bizarre. I feel like American Eagle, like in high school, was like, and even into college was like my go-to for jeans because they did have bigger sizes. And then there came a point like a couple years ago where I was like, they just never have the size I need anymore. Like, and they were like just slowly taking them away. And I was like,
what's happening?
I know people are buying them. I'm buying them. Like, what's going on? But yeah, I think it's like, maybe it's a business decision. Maybe it's like a deeply societally inground way to like make us feel awful about ourselves.
I know. Like, you know, I so relate on the American Eagle thing, but you know who has completely done a total 180 is Abercrombie. Now, they used to like throw holy water on me when I tried to walk in that store. And now I can go in and buy jeans that fit and look cute.
That's okay. Well, I've honestly been scared to try Abercrombie.
I promise you. I'm not going to steer you wrong.
Okay.
You'll find jeans that work.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's like kind of insane.
Okay. Yeah. I'm going to try it though.
And if you don't want to go to the store, they have a good return policy.
Yeah. Okay. Online. Good.
Online. Good. Okay. So you mentioned that you're dating, so you're single.
Yeah.
What's that like? I'm just asking because I'm not.
Yeah. I honestly have pretty much always been single, and I think I've never really had like a long term.
I've never had a long term until my
current
man.
Really? How? Wait, and you guys have been together for like 2 years?
2 years.
Or so.
Yep.
Yeah. So I mean, like. So you kind of, I mean, maybe you get it then.
No, I always felt like this perpetually single third wheel girl.
Yeah, I think, and I don't really feel I don't really feel a certain type of way about it. I think it's really amazing. I like being very independent.
Yep.
There is like a certain part of me where I know I've been held back in dating because of my own insecurities and stuff, but then also like figuring out that like I'm gay and stuff and queer and figuring that out. And now I'm not really dating cis men at all anymore, and that's kind of freeing. And it's kind of like, oh wait, I wrote like a little like personal essay when I like went on my first date with a girl like 2 years ago or something, and it was just like this mind-boggling experience of like I could show up on a date in like loose-fitting jeans and like a chunky sweater. Like I didn't feel like I had to show up as like the smallest version of myself, and I like didn't have to wear like a push-up bra. Like I was not really wearing any makeup, and like felt beautiful and like felt like sought after. And it was such like a, oh, this is new.
Yeah.
Huh. And so I think I'm still very early on in that kind of like journey of things.
So many changes in the last few years for you.
No, literally. I was like, okay, I'm sober. I'm gay now, and I'm going to reckon with everything all at the same time.
Yeah.
No, I did everything at once.
Such a tower moment.
It is a tower moment. I don't do anything half-assed. I don't drink in a half-assed way. And I don't heal in a half-assed way. If I'm doing something, I really overdo it all at once. So I stayed true to that.
I hear, you just binge a life change.
Exactly. No, I've binged like healing all at once.
I love that. Binge healing I can get it behind.
Yeah.
Because as a woman,
yes,
you are not going to weaponize your healing like some people. That binge healing.
Men?
Yes, that's what I meant.
Are you talking about men?
Are you talking about men?
Yeah.
So much in my dating growing up, like through my 20s, was me being like, why am I always the girl that they don't want? You know, getting ghosted and just, you know, not like going on a date and not going anywhere kind of thing. And it wasn't until I hit like 25, 26, and I still kind of dealt with it then as well. But where I was like, being alone is awesome. And you've always liked being alone. But what you're looking for is the validation from these men. Like, that's what you're looking for. And that's why you feel so sad all the time.
Yeah.
Because you're not getting this validation. And when I would get ghosted from like something that felt serious, because, you know, that's what men do.
Oh, wow.
I don't date women, so
cool
I don't know.
They do that.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm sure that happens.
I think it does, I think.
Yeah, because people are weird.
People weird and they suck and they don't know how to communicate sometimes.
Exactly. It's the communication thing. Yeah. But it would feel as if I was being murdered. I'm like, oh my gosh, this man not texting me anymore or going out with me feels like I am being just stabbed. It was so horrible. It was so horrible. And it's not only I've learned a lot about myself in my current relationship because of like what I'll put up with, what I was accepting before as to what I'm getting now, and just, you know, my relationship with being alone now is very different. And yeah, it's crazy. And I always was so jealous of girls that always had a boyfriend or had a boyfriend, you know, because I never had one. And I was just like, that also played into like the body image thing. Because I'm like, well, clearly something is fucking flawed.
Right.
You know?
No, for sure. I think, and then I think dating women and stuff, like it's slightly easier, but then it's also like
I'm sure it's not.
There's a whole other like it's still your body, you know, nothing really has changed, and so that's still you still have to kind of figure that out and be like confident in that and stuff. But
do people have the audacity to say to you, "Oh, I wish I was gay"?
Yeah.
It's so crazy.
Can I tell you that happened to me in group therapy?
No.
I was in a therapy group and I actually I broke up with them. I've never had to break up with anyone besides my group therapy. Besides 12 women at once. But it was because I was like, as I was coming into like, I was being more comfortable in like my queerness and stuff. And like, I was like, okay, these straight women don't really get me at all. And I was like talking about like going on a date. And I was like, oh yeah, this was like a year ago. And I was just like, oh yeah, I think right now, like I'm just kind of dating to figure out, like to learn about myself. It's really fun. And like two of the girls who were in group therapy to deal with a breakup, or like a long-term relationship ended in a horrible way. They were like, oh, I wish I could just like try women. But like, I just like don't think I can.
That is like so something I said when I was like 22.
Yeah, I think I said it too before I realized.
Oh, totally. Yeah.
But yeah, and that kind of, I was like, am I crazy for being offended by that? Or like being annoyed by that? Because I also was raised like super Catholic, and that plays. Oh, really?
Yeah.
Wow. We're so same.
I know. So similar.
But yeah, so I think, and so like even just coming out to like my parents or coming out to like myself even was like such a like painful thing. Like I sobbed like so much when I got sober and decided that I should acknowledge that I'm gay all at the same time.
Like, I really can't ever have the body of Christ anymore.
No, literally. Truly. Because Jesus is a man. God is a man. Because God is a man. But yeah, so I got so annoyed by that. So yeah, people have said it to me.
No, that's I wanted to ask because I'm sure people have, and that's crazy.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
Wow. And it's not meant in any like bad way, but I'm also like, think about what you're
just
saying.
Think about it.
Just like hear me out.
Yeah.
Think before you speak a little bit.
I know. And like I totally have said and done stupid things, and I'm still going to say and do stupid things because I have to learn whatever I'm saying is wrong.
Yeah.
But truly, I don't know how old those people were that said that, but like I literally said that shit when I was young and dumb.
Yeah,
it's
they
like,
were definitely they're in their 30s.
Yeah,
for
no,
sure.
Come on, let's just like, you know, get out of. Clearly, you're in a bubble of some bullshit, and you're not like seeing, or you have said that before. No one has said, "Hey, don't say that."
I know. I'm like, I don't think you have any gay friends.
Right. You clearly don't have any gay friends.
I think it's like the feeling I got. I was like, okay.
Yeah.
Bye, group.
Yeah, totally. Wow.
But yeah.
Transformation.
Yeah, truly.
Yeah. Oh, so great. I don't have anything else, man.
Yeah.
We're wrapping up. We hit an hour like
That's
easy.
awesome. I know.
Okay. You know what? We'll do this. This is fun.
Okay.
It's finish the sentence.
Okay.
Don't be stressed.
No, it's
Don't
fine.
be stressed.
I did improv in high school. I'll be fine. Okay.
And I think you've done healing where you'll have good answers.
Okay.
Okay. Finish the sentence. When I look at a photo of my younger self, ...
I do want to give her a hug.
Oh,
Yeah.
I love. Same. I so relate to that.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Okay. If I could choose the way I'd die, I'd pick.
Whoa. I'd pick to live forever.
No, really?
No, you're right.
Forever is a long time.
I think being raised Catholic and stuff, I'm like, hell is real.
Well, you still grapple with that?
I think I still grapple with that. And so that's a loaded dot for me. I'm like, well, if I die, well, God for sure, I think loves gay people.
For sure.
And so I do think I'm like, gonna go to heaven. I'm gonna go to heaven. Yeah, I don't know. Purgatory sounded really scary when I was in middle school learning about it. So I'm like, well, I'd rather live forever than like deal with purgatory.
Totally. So you still okay? Okay, I want to ask. So because like I remember learning about heaven, hell, and purgatory, and just kind of deciding that can exist because that's too scary. Like I think purgatory is worse than hell.
That's what I always thought.
Right.
Because if you're in hell, you don't care that you're there.
Right. You're just a bad person that's in hell, and it's like, oh, I'm in hell. I like fire and brimstone.
Exactly. I always imagined there was a lot of fire.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Like death metal.
Yeah, and there was always just like red lighting everywhere.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Totally. It just looked like an erupting volcano.
Yeah, basically. Yeah.
Whereas purgatory is like going to an accountant's office to take a look at all your mistakes.
Yeah, I always felt like purgatory was like this like deep, like this like just this like span of nothingness, and like you would and like echoes and like empty and sad. Which, and so really glad that was in my education as a child.
Yeah. Oh yeah. I'm glad that we both have like very vivid depictions of
it's so important to have these vivid dreams of hell when you're 11 years old, and being scared that you're gonna go there.
And by the way, if you accidentally touch your genitals, that's where you're going.
No, oh my God, masturbation is a whole other thing. It's a whole other thing. So you really shouldn't do it.
You will go blind. It is bad for you, and it does make Jesus upset.
And God sees everything.
Yeah,
He sees everything.
He'll be there with you on your wedding day, and he'll know if you're not
on your wedding day with a man. As it should be.
Yep.
So ... I guess if I do die, I hope it's painless, and I hope I've lived a good life.
Totally. Yeah, no.
Call me crazy.
Yeah. Yeah. I would say like on the real, I want to die just like peacefully in my bed. Like a good old person.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah, totally.
Like a progressive old person.
Yeah. And I do want to be like in the papers.
Oh, yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I want to be in the papers, and I want to be in some like memory slideshow.
Yes.
And there's a lot of applause.
Yeah, I want someone's experience to be they're sitting in class and they're bored and they peer over at their phone because it lit up, and it's a push notification from Apple News saying Kelly Taylor died at the age of 99.
Oh my God, guys, Kelly Taylor died.
And it's like,
no.
Like how I felt when I got the notification that Richard Lewis died, I want other people to feel that about me. I never thought of that. I like that.
I hadn't thought of that until now.
Yeah.
Wow.
I
Improv
like
is
that.
beautiful. Improv's really beautiful.
It really is. I should get my judgy stick out of my ass and actually do an improv class, because it does help with your comedic ability.
It is unfortunately really fun.
I know.
I know. Fun.
Damn.
Yeah.
Do you do improv shows?
I did improv a lot in high school and college, and then I stopped out of shame and embarrassment, as you should. You should stop improv for a bit to reckon with it.
And then move over to stand-up.
And then I started feeling kind of meh about stand-up for a little bit recently, and so I've been doing a bit more writing. I'm writing a solo show kind of vibe.
Fucking sick. I love
that's
that.
The theater kid in me.
No, that's sick.
I'm I have to do a one-woman show.
Yeah.
And then I started doing improv and sketch again. So
amazing.
Yeah.
I love that journey.
Yeah.
Okay. A few more. A mistake I'll never make again.
I I've made so many. Can you do yours first?
Okay, a mistake I'll never make again. Ooh, no one's ever pushed it back on me.
Sorry.
No,
I'm not sorry.
Listen, I live by the sword. I die by the sword. I have to do it. A mistake I'll never make again is I will not. I'm just thinking about current mistakes that I still chronically do. A mistake I'll never make again. I'm gonna have to cut all this. It should just come to me. I'm the one asking these questions. I will not berate myself before an event because I am crazy. I kind of touched on it in our conversation, but like if I'm nervous about something, I will tear myself down. Like I will just make it so that why would I want to go to this thing? Because I'm being so horrible to myself. And I don't know if I'll never make that mistake again.
I do have one that is, I will definitely make it again, but I'm trying not to, is if I'm feeling sad and I need comfort, to call my mom for comfort.
Oh yeah, calling mom for comfort is
love that girl, love that crazy girl, but she does not have she doesn't have a comforting bone in her body. She's not she's not like a natural caretaker.
Totally.
Like whenever I was sick, she had no idea what to do with me. She was like, what do you want me to do?
Yeah.
And she's like, she just can't do it. And it's not for lack of love. She just genuinely is she freezes.
Yeah, no, totally. Calling your mom looking for comfort when you've made a mistake.
Yeah.
Especially when you've made a mistake. It's like, well, I didn't know I was calling the devil to make me feel bad.
Oh my God, who's going to list off the reasons why I shouldn't have done it that I've already said to myself?
Yes. Well, if you didn't put yourself in that situation.
Yeah.
Okay, last one, and it kind of relates to the first one of looking at a photo of your younger self, but if I could whisper something in the ear of my younger self, I would say, that's my favorite one. I would tell my younger self to relax. It's okay. It's not a big deal. None of this is a big deal.
I know. My instinct was to say in a jazzy voice, sing to her, it's gonna be okay.
Yeah.
I don't know. It's gonna be good, girl. Just keep on going.
Yes. And little jazzy girl would love that. She'll tap to it.
Yeah, a little tap to it.
Yeah.
When I'm dancing, it's gonna be okay. Yeah. I think if I in the back of my head had a weird jazz singer telling me it's gonna be fine, I think I would have solved a lot of things for me.
Listen, I don't know what multi-dimensions and parallel universes are happening. There is a young Caroline that's hearing a jazz voice in her head right now saying it's gonna be okay.
And it's me right now.
It's you right now.
Singing is gonna be okay, baby.
Yeah. Yes.
Yeah.
Gosh. Thank you so much for coming on.
Of course. This was so fun.
I'm so glad.
Yeah.
I'm so glad. We had a really great conversation. I'm excited for people to listen to it. Where can people find you?
People can find me on Instagram at It's Caroline Dunn. And pretty much everything you need is going to be through there because website under construction. And I think my website is also itscarolinedunn.com. Yeah.
Okay.
Itscarolinedunn.com.
Awesome. Everything will be in the show notes in the description, people.
Yeah.
Amazing. Can't thank you enough. Beautiful, lovely queen. Everybody, till next week. Bye.
Bye.